So welcome Yaroslava, and also Joe here with us. Well, I don't even know where to start. First I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind, Yaroslava. Yeah, we don't mind. Because normally I would have had at least 3 or 4 occasions when I can speak to you. This is our first time talking, so how are you doing?
Yeah, you know, first time I received press conference in Zurich, the last Diamond League final, but finally.
But finally, we're here. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
you know, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm ready to jump.
And that is exactly what we want to hear. I mean, I was just thinking about the fact that you started off the season, that's, well, 202, pretty early in the year. I felt then that there was going to be a season where you're going to be literally jumping 2 meters and 5 every competition minimum. I mean, do people like me, who's a fan and apparently an expert, apparently, right, of an event, I mean, when we put pressure on you and that expectation, does that get to you at all, or are you just thinking, I need to stick to what I'm doing to get the performances I need when it matters?
Yes, you know, I have started my season very well and I like it, but of course the main thing it was that to get in shape until Tokyo, because Tokyo is the main competition in the end of September, 1 month now, you know, and from childhood I think my coach said that it's not pressure outside of the track and field, because we know that we know how we train, and so it's just work of art that you just go to the stadium to track and show great results, doesn't matter what happened.
And as an Olympic champion and world record holder, does that change the next year for you, you know? So you won all that last year. How do you then refocus for this year? Because that's got to be tough.
Yeah, you know, but I enjoy that I do. I love it. It's my passion, high jump. So now I just get fun, you know. I try high jump, and I like now the atmosphere in high jump field, because like we support each other. We have small talks between the attempts, and it's so cool.
Yeah, indeed. Joe, over to you. I mean, this is my very first time interviewing you, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome.
Hard to believe, right? But your event, in that sense, I'm off my chair because I get so excited about it. I always say to people, at the 3rd round, ignore everything up to round 3, because the action is all going to happen from the 3rd round onwards. I mean, how do you deal with that? Because if I know that, you kind of got to feel that as well.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing about the field events and how a series can build, and all it takes is one. And, you know, I remember back to Doha in 2019, having one throw kind of change everything for me. So, of course, my competitors didn't like that. Whereas for me, I've had it go the other way for myself a few times as well. But, you know, I think, especially this time of the year, everybody's measuring each other up, and you kind of have a sense to know where your competitors are, even before they take that first throw and warm up. So even if you haven't seen it maybe round 2 or 3, as somebody in the comp, you know it's coming.
It's definitely on the way in that sense. And does that at all then create any anxiety? Because when I'm watching you, right, and when they say the throws are going away, I describe you as like a prowler, right? You don't sit there and keep yourself quiet in that sense. You're moving. You're edging to get back into that circle. So if that anxiety that you show, you can channel that energy correctly to do those big throws.
I hope so. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, for sure. You know, the in-between and the weight, of course, we'd love to just rapid fire if we could. I think tomorrow we have 14 people in the meet because we're throwing with the women. So there's going to be a lot of in-between. So because of that, you're going to see me moving a lot. Hopefully, my wife and coach will tell me, you know, don't move too much or you're going to waste a bunch of energy. But yeah, of course, you never want to get cold. You never want to slow down. And I'd rather kind of keep the train moving as much as I can.
Absolutely. I mean, Yaroslava, for you, well, I say
different ways.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you absolutely do the complete opposite to the prowling.
Yes.
You tuck yourself away in your sleeping
bag. I try
bag.
to relax between the attempts, you know, not sleeping.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, are you seriously sleeping between attempts? No, just close my eyes and relax between attempts and think that I should do what next step might. You know?
Is the sleep, now here's a question for you, is the sleeping bag that you tuck yourself into, is that kind of something that's for you necessary, or is it something that you just do because of a habit? So,
yeah,
you use a blanket, for example.
You know, after Tokyo, I remember after my Olympic Games where the weather it was so hot, and if I use the usual one blanket, it's not helpful.
Okay.
Because it will be so hot and it's not work. So my coach Sergei Stepanov found the way, and he found the blanket for camping, and there's state temperature. So if it's hot, it's okay, one temperature. It's cold, it's one. So it's the same state temperature that I needed. To not spend a lot of energy between attempts. I try lay down and keep my energy, and it just give me time for rest and for thinking.
And time for thinking, which is important, because both of you, this is a Diamond League final after all, right? So you're going to have the best of the best literally competing. So there's no respite, there's no let-up, competition is intense. So how have you kind of worked your way to this process where you've got to take on the very best in the world time after time? That in itself has got to be energy sapping. I mean, Joe, for you first.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one of these things, I've had a long career. I think my first Diamond League is in 2012, so I kind of got to see this.
Were you born?
I got to see this evolve. I definitely am the old guy at the scene, and now the way our competitions are, it's literally the Olympic final every single time. Yeah. And part of that, of course, is stressful, but I think you do get used to it, right? And you get used to somebody, catches a little bit of fire, and they're ready, and you know where they're going, and you got to respond to that. So I think all of us kind of, this time of year, I'm sure it's the same every competition. You see people coming into their form. I'm going to see a bunch of guys tomorrow who come out there confident, ready. They're trying to put together something for Tokyo. I'm trying to go out there and try to get one of these. I have 3 of them at home. I'd like to put another one next to it.
I love that. You the same?
Yeah,
you got
the same. 3.
Okay.
Yes, and it's a bit an honor to me competing here because in Zurich I won my first diamond trophy, so it's really cool. And it's really, tomorrow will be so fast competition and we'll compete in city. So it's a different atmosphere, but all girls are ready to show their good result because it's final step before the World Championships. So we're all in good shape. So, and I know that we will do all our best to show the highest results.
And we've got a sense that it's going to be over 2 meters, I would have thought. If the weather's good, because the competition is there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah. We do as well. It's going to be totally exciting. I mean, outside, out in the streets, in that sense, I've asked the long jumpers themselves if they prefer that to be in the stadium where everything's slightly more enclosed and, the focus is on there. Where do you position it? Do you like the atmosphere in the street as well? Because you've jumped high. I know you jumped high there as well. So, yeah.
It's really, I like the atmosphere, and I like it because we have high jump meeting in the winter where we're close to people, and it's cool when you have time to get closer to your fans, and now I have a Japanese fan who was in Silesia, in Lausanne, and now he will be in Zurich, so it's cool, to be close there with your fans.
Right next to you, yeah, virtually on set.
Yeah, and us as the shop players, we love the street competitions because, of course, even people who may not know much about the shop, but whoever's yelling the loudest and using the most chalk, that's probably the one who's winning. So, and I think it's fun to put on the show. I think this meet in particular, I threw my PR here 2 years ago. So I have to say yes, I do enjoy it because it's a different environment. There's definitely a lot more factors, and the ring's different than normal. But once you kind of get used to them and you get your groove, that you can use the environment to your advantage.
I'm going to mention World Championships. Yeah. Yaroslava, first of all, for you, they're up and coming. Are you excited about that as well? Are you happy that we can get the Diamond League out the way and get 4 of these and then hopefully move on to the world title?
Yeah, of course I'm excited because it's main competition of this year that we go through all season to get the best shape for this, and I have in my mind I'm going to Tokyo to protect my title of world champion. So I think I know that its competition will be on the fire, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll answer the guy. Yeah, I won't be at Worlds.
Exactly. I didn't want to say that. Glad
that's just how it goes in the sport. Be the first time since my first World Championship team was 2015, and I had a medal in every championship since then. So I'm ruining the streak of that, which hurts a bit, but that's how our sport goes. And U.S. champs got a little bit hot. And we had Our family had some things going through, a little bit of COVID in the family. We just tried to get through the day, still through 22, but it wasn't enough to get on the team. So this will be the last one for the year, but I hope the guys who did make it come home with a medal, because that's the job of a U.S. shot putter.
Absolutely. And then for yourself, then that must mean this Diamond League event is going to be it for you. This is going to be virtually your World Title Championships.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wanted to get it either way, but now because it's the only thing I have to grab at, I'd like to come home with something. You don't want to go home empty-handed, that's for sure.
Okay, 4 of these.
I got the cheese in Lausanne, so if anybody knows that, that's still the exciting thing to bring home is the wedge of cheese.
Do you know, I was watching that and I was thinking that the circle itself must have had at least 3 inches of water in it, because it continuously rained. If people didn't weren't actually there, it just continues. There was no respite at all. I mean, I'll get to you with Lausanne in a minute, right? But for you, you still managed to go for 22 meters.
Yeah, for us in the throws, I mean, you know, there was maybe part of it that was kind of fun, right? Because it takes away the expectation of how far am I going to throw today, and just kind of go out there and compete. And the ring was, for all the rings we throw in, Lausanne is historically the grippiest and slowest. So with the water, it actually wasn't too bad. And you know, I was able to go out there and get a couple throws that were good, but it was kind of fun. You know, all my clothes are probably still wet from that, so luckily I've been doing a bunch of laundry since then. But yeah, it was a fun competition to go to, and of course, bring the cheese home.
And bring the cheese home. They usually bring home the bacon, is what they say, right? But this time we're bringing home the cheese. And young lady, Lausanne.
Next question, please. No, it's really like, yes, it's raining, but it was fun. Really, for girls, we get fun, and now we have a lot of conversation about that. And its competition will be always in our mind.
Yeah.
And it's good memories to experience.
I was wondering, every time you landed on that mat, people were landing on that during warm up.
It was fun and full.
Yeah, literally like that, literally. So, we're talking about sport, our sport in track and field, and there's so much innovation. You know, new products, new shoes, etc., that are making people jump, you know, higher, further, run faster, etc., etc. But I don't see them developing anything specifically for the shot put, for example. I mean, what do you think, Joe, could be done to innovate the shot put so we can get those bigger distances, a bigger circle maybe?
I feel like this is a side tangent. I'll get yelled at if I get on, but
go on, go for it.
No, we definitely in the throws, Nike's coming out with a new throwing shoe. Prototypes are doing good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening for us. I think some rules have changed in their years. Like I think post 2017 is a completely different era than pre 2017. You can tape your hand now. If Christian Campbell could have taped his hand, he could have been thrown for a lot longer. And the sport about fouling in the back of the ring, you're allowed to do that now. So like I hate to look at the marks of the guys I loved watching, Reese Hoffa, Christian Cantwell, Adam Nelson, and judging them on the same exact bar, because I don't think it is.
Okay. And how about, as I mentioned there, would it help if we kind of had a bigger circle? Because you guys are pretty big.
I don't know. Well, I think post 2017 the circle did get bigger because you can step out of it now. Yeah, unofficially, but you can. So I think there's some things that are a lot bigger advantage now. As I said, 2012. What happens now and what happens before, it's completely different. So you can get away with a lot more now, and I think because of that, you're starting to see people push more, bring more energy, and not be as scared to see that red flag.
We don't see, if I'm just trying to go through the top 5 or 6, it's probably even the top 10. No more gliders. It seems
no
like
more.
rotation is the way now.
Yeah, the spin's the win. And I think you're seeing it with the women as well. They're really taking off. I think Chase is ready to break over that 21-meter barrier. Hopefully she does it tomorrow. But I think you're seeing it take over, because the biggest thing people talked about was the spin was inconsistent, and now you see almost no fouls anymore. Unless somebody fouls on purpose, it's a bad attempt. So you're seeing it, the consistency is taking over, and it's allowing somebody like myself, who's shorter, Sarah Minton from Canada, who's shorter, to kind of compete with the different leverages and kind of use your body as maximally as you can.
So speed in our rotation is paramount.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you, like, my favorite thing about the shot put, and I got to tell everybody, it goes back to your high school physics class. It's height of release, speed of release, angle of release. Like, it's as simple as that. So, like, whatever shot put's going the farthest, it's because it's going the fastest. So we are a speed event, ultimately. But, of course, you have to have the power to make it go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's very similar. It's not the same. You still have to have power and a sense of control, because for you on your runner, because you can obviously run up much quicker into the actual high jump.
Yeah, you know, it's like high jump is pretty one too, but you need its balance, the speed, because if you run so fast, you cannot take off its right position. If you run so slow, the same, you don't have like time to get out of the bar. So it's just balance of it, you know.
Yeah, and that really ultimately gets the performance, right? Any questions from the floor? Oh, hands went up straight away. Loads of hands went up straight away. Here we go. They're going to go, but they're coming to you second, I promise you. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Kovacs, Santtu Silvano, Finnish Media Iltalehti. Could you tell me a little bit about the US trials in Eugene? It was massive competition.
Yeah, it was a good meet. I think, you know, for me personally, I kind of came out well, 3.2 meters, and then, you know, as I said, our family was a little bit down, and we knew it going in there, so the fourth and fifth gear that I normally have, I didn't have that day, and those guys kind of took off, but of course it's a good environment. It was a good day, and you know, everybody threw far, you know, especially in that last round, and I think, you know, if you get on the team, you better come with the medal. So I think those guys, they got the torch now, and they got to keep it going.
You have backup if Browser is out.
I was told no, even if he would go out, I'm not. But I don't know how that works. I'm just going to try to get one of those and take the kids on vacation when I get home.
Good answer. Mike's on the way. I promise you, it's on the way. Here we go.
Yaroslava, you know, there are many, in this time, there are 10, 15 big names in track and field, but when the history books will be written in 30 years, what you're doing in your circumstances, carrying your country, do you realize your magnitude in history will be sort of bigger than most of the athletes?
I think that every athlete do the story of sports. It's really important. But of course, for me, especially, yes, to be the first one who jumped over than 209 for 37 years, so it's a big, really, I'm proud that I represent Ukraine, and you know, it was a celebration to all Ukrainian people, and maybe at that moment when I jumped, I didn't realize this so much, but when I came home and talked with my Ukrainians, and they say, yes, we chant with you, we cry with you, so it's a big support, and I thought that I do right things, you know, and I want to improve myself and jump high, and of course to get my name in history of world track and field.
Brilliant answer. Mike has come in. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, can you talk about the impact that your family, and by family I mean your mother, your wife, your children, the impact they've had on your career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think my whole career has been a family affair of, you know, it being influenced. When I started the shot put, you know, I went to a school that didn't have a shot put ring, didn't have a track, didn't have anything, and I just was throwing in the parking lot. And then my mom was picking me up for school and knew what I was doing was wrong. So she stepped in to help me and guided me to get to the point that I was able to do it in college and keep going. And then, of course, professionally, went to California for a while, learned a lot under Coach Art Venegas in the professional scene. And then, you know, at that point in my career, I was done, and I actually moved to my girlfriend at the time, who definitely never wanted the role of coach, but then saw me in a big slump and saw me at the point where I was ready to be done with my career, and kind of said, like, listen, you're not this bad, we're going to figure this out right now. And, you know, that year was 2019, where I had my worst meet of my career to the best meet of my career, winning the World Championships, you know, 6 months later. So, you know, having people, not just because they're family or the influence, but having people that were close to me my whole career and having people I trust, I think that relationship is why I still love doing this. And I get to do this with my family. You know, last year we brought the kids with us to these meets, though that was a little rough when they lost their bags. So this year it's just Ashley with me. The kids are with the grandparents right now for this week. But that's my favorite part about what I do, is I can do it together with them.
Any other questions from the floor? Yep, we got one on this side here. There's the mic.
Joe, what's your personal best in bench press and squatting?
Yeah, well, the other day I did 310 the other day kilos. I think the most impressive I did 300 kilos for a double with a pause. That's a power lifter would respect that a lot. That's a lot. And then I've been over 1,000.
Was that the squat?
No, that's a bench press. The bench press. The squat was 1,000 pounds in kilos. I don't know. Just over 1,000 pounds. So I think that's like
440.
440. Yeah. So quite a bit. We got some horsepower.
I would say, I took a deep breath there. I was like, never. I didn't even know bars could have so much weight.
No.
Yaroslava, what's yours? Any equivalent?
No.
Do you have any more questions there? Yeah, you have two more coming up.
Joe, you mentioned in a recent interview that you kind of taken it year by year as far as how long you're going to stay in the sport. If this happened to be your last year, what do you see as your legacy to the sport, as Sean put it?
Yeah, I take it meat by meat, honestly, because it is year by year. And of course, you make a 4-year decision to go through 28, and that's the plan. But it's always, I think, when you have these down moments, and I think there's maybe a relief of me having an off year that I had this year. I have a perspective of how long I've been in it, the eras I've been into it. I think this past year we did a lot of camps. We had our throwbacks camps, and I think me going to high school kids and like being around kids that have been watching my videos their whole career, you know, it's something I never really experienced because I never put myself in that setting to even talk to some of the younger kids because I was maybe focused and in the zone so much. So I think the cool part has been I've been able to see some more the impact I've made, and it's kind of given me even more, maybe humbled me, but gave me more responsibility to keep making that impact, whether it's some far throws or helping somebody else get to the next PR.
And you have made an impact.
Absolutely. Guys, it's going to be time for me to shift you out and bring more people in this sense.